Hi there VC, it's Steve Whitty here. This video and another video for you. This video is more vinyl finds. This is vinyl finds I had last week. Some are purchases, new purchases, some are finds, charity shop finds, record store finds where I've been a little bit lucky, and I'll explain more as I go along. So without further ado, because I've got quite a few to show you. 12-inch single. This is Animation and Obsession. It was their big hit single in the UK. It was a hit single in the US as well. I'm not sure if they were a British band or an American band. Yeah, it got here on the Ace side 1. You've got the dance. In fact, probably better. And then side 2, you've got the Obsession dub. Room here for myself. Another 12-inch single. This is B Movie, Marilyn Dreams. B Movie were a British band, sort of indie post-punk band. It's not my favourite song. It's a good song. They had a minor hit single with a thing called Remembrance Day. So I was pleased to pick this up. Not a bad little 12-inch single. Now, the albums I'm going to show that came from the record store, Pete bought who owns it. He does second-hand records. He doesn't sell new records because he feels he wouldn't be able to shift them. He'd have to stock a whole lot, and it's cash for a businessman. So he buys collections, and he's brought a collection of a guy where the records themselves are great. Unfortunately, this guy had a cat who took fun in scratching the covers. So the covers ain't great, which means that Pete's selling them at a reduced fee. So I'm seeing records that would normally cost me the earth at bargain rates. And such an example, and I showed this in the video for 5 bands that were I felt were underappreciated in the VC. And this is Bebop Deluxe debut album, Axe Victim. Bebop Deluxe came out of Wakefield in West Yorkshire. And there's the band. Probably the best known member is Bill Nelson, the guitarist, de facto leader of the band. And it's not, as an album goes, it's a very good album. I think standout tracks for me, it's a gatefold as well. You've got the band there as well, again. Probably the standout track for me on here is Adventures in a Yorkshire Landscape. It's a really good album, this is. And I can hardly recommend Bebop Deluxe enough. And you might be seeing a few more of their albums coming up in future videos. After this album came out, Bill Nelson basically split the band. He sacked a lot of them, all the members, and he got Bebop Deluxe back together in a new lineup. This one cost me a few only pennies, and this is a double album called the Bee Gees Bonanza, and it's called The Early Days. And when we say the early days, we're not talking when the Massachusetts, New York mining disaster. We're talking about the stuff they recorded in Australia before they came over. So you've got here Spicks and Specks, which people may know. Tinted Blue, Claustrophobia, theme from Jamie McFeeters, Cherry Red. So this is really, it's a double album. It's in beautiful condition. It's on Pickwick Records, so which is well known for cheap records at reduced price. So they get hold of some recordings like this. So as a curiosity for an early Bee Gees fan, this is not bad at all. It plays well. I'm actually quite happy to have this because it just highlights where they were coming from. So that time they came over to the UK, back from Australia. For those who don't know, Bee Gees were born in the UK, but emigrated to Australia in the late 50s. And while they were there, they started doing the singing, became very popular in Australia, and then came back to the UK around 66, and then started having hits, and then the rest is history. And then I went off to America. Another 12-inch single, and in the previous one, I showed a 12-inch single by band Birdland, and I've picked up another one. Now, I don't know if it's a 12-inch single. I suppose it is a 12-inch single, but it's basically a live mini album. And what's unusual about it is it's only cut on one side. The B-side, no cutting, but it just highlights that the next release will be on the 22nd of January 1990. So this was released in 1989. I know Graham Grebo 69 commented that he remembered Birdland, and I was pleased to pick that up. Maybe just a band that I need to explore more. I do remember there was a fair bit of hype around them, but it never materialised. Oh, excuse me. Another standard album that you'd find in pound shops, but it's in good nick. This is Nat King Cole's "The Touch of Your Lips." This is a World Record Club edition. This you've got here: "Touch of Your Lips," "I Remember You," "Illusion," "You're Mine," "You," "Funny," "Pollyannica," and "Sunday Morning," or "Always," "Not So Long Ago," "A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square," "Only Forever," "My Need for You," "Lights Out." It's what stands out, and especially a lot of these singers like Sinatra, Nat King Cole. It's the voice, Tony Bennett. You pick it up because of the voice. It's so smooth. So it sounded so effortless to them. To change to something slightly different. And this is one of this batch that came out with you can see where the cat sort of scratched away at the album. So you couldn't never call it mint, but Deep Purple's Burn. You had to pick this up for a couple of quid, and it's not in bad nick on the Purple record label. Okay. Really pleased to have this album in my collection. So build up some more early Deep Purple. This was the first album to feature David Coverdale and Glenn Hughes. Ian Gillan had decided to leave the band at that point, and they decided to get rid of Roger Glover at the same time, in fact, infamously. And they toyed with getting Paul Rodgers in to replace Ian Gillan. And this was happening while Gillan was still in the band. But in the end, they went with Glenn Hughes. He was in the band trapeze, and David Coverdale was a bit unknown entity at the time. So they decided to have him in the band. He didn't look the part, to be honest. He had what's known as a lazy eye, so he wore glasses. So they got that fixed, got him to lose a few pounds, and suddenly he looked the part. And say the rest is history. Another 12-inch single. This is Dire Straits' "Heavy Fuel." Now this came from the On Every Street album. It's not great. Yeah, I think I do get the feeling that this album might have been done to sort of like close the contract, so to speak. You got one album to do. In good condition. Don't get me wrong. You got the list of the tour dates at the back. It's okay. It's not it's not up there with the best Dire Straits. Now I was given this album. Foghat Live. Now I know Slow Ride, because if you played Guitar Hero, that track is on there, and I've tried to play along to it, and so you are aware. Now Foghat were a band from England that made it very big in the States. Now, this is their biggest album, and I think they came from Savoy Brown. They'd been in Savoy Brown, left, formed Foghat, toured, and found that they've got the market in America. You listen to this. This is American stadium rock probably at its best. It's a great album. It's a corking album. And it makes me want to actually dig out some more Foghat. I know it might be difficult to find, because they never really dented the charts in the UK. Bigger in the States. And sometimes I've mentioned in comments that bands that become big in the States Too tend to suffer when back home. Another 12-inch single, and this is Four Tops. This is Don't Walk Away on the Casablanca label. This came out in 1981. I think they had a surprise hit single where She Was My Girl, and this sort of followed it up. Ain't bad. It ain't up there with the standards, but it's okay. Now you may remember a few weeks back that I entered the contest for SMS Captain Howdy's contest, and by short, my name didn't get entered, but I didn't really think much of it. But in the kindness of his heart, he sent me $25 Amazon gift voucher. So I got on Amazon.com, and that's a different story in itself. The difference between Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk when it comes to vinyl, and that might be a rant video coming up, but I'm not going to rant. So I went on and I got myself a copy of Funkadelic's Free Your Mind and Your Ass Will Follow, and I still got some money left actually from it. That with the shipping. This is a Men with Four Beards pressing edition, and it's just absolutely brilliant. Cover, oh wow! I'm so pleased, John. Thank you again. What a great album. Another 12-inch single. And this is Grapes and Rough. Now, I've never heard of them, but all I know is they're Canadian. It's very indie pop. Do you want to tell me? So, okay, not brilliant. Back to this batch of records that the cat had to go at the covers again. This is Kansas Leftover Chewer. I believe their debut album. You can see there. Plays. It's a good album. It's got Carry On Wayward Son, which I think is the best known Kansas track to most people. In good nick. So pleased to get that. A couple of quid there, and again another album for a couple of quid. This is Rainbow on Stage. Again, a little bit of wear and tear on the cover. As live albums go, this isn't probably one of the best live albums ever. Because on a double album, you've got 8 tracks. In fact, two tracks cover a side each. Pretty play. And I actually got soft spot for Rainbow, and then you got Gatefold there. It's a bit sad to think that when you open that Gatefold, 2/3 of the band are no longer, 60% of the band are no longer with us. Another 12-inch single. Now this is Rush, Big Money. Again, I think this came in the batch covers being got at. From the Power Windows album. It's got Territories, and then on the B-side you've got Rex Sector Line. I've said before, even in the mid-80s period, a bad Rush album was better than most albums that came out at that period. Right, I've got to be careful how I do this. Okay. Hopefully, the Scorpions' Love Drive. Now, I've had to put this in a cover, because literally, the cover is absolutely shot. Again, it's a couple of pound, and you probably gather this is the album where you've got the inventive use of bubblegum. But as albums go, this is a corking hard rock album. Now, this was the first album that featured Matthias Jabs on guitar. But at that time, Michael Schenker had just left UFO, and he recorded some of the tracks on the album. It's out on the Harvest label. Standout tracks on here. Standout tracks. Loving You Sunday Morning. Is there anyone out there is absolutely brilliant track. I think it was a minor hit single for him at the time. So that's the Scorpions' Love Drive. I'll do that. Now for something totally different, again I picked this from a charity shop, and this was pennies. This is Ray Stevens' Misty. Ray Stevens, country singer, best known really for The Streak, which is a novelty song. He sort of straddled the line between singing normal songs and comedy novelty songs. I mean, his last hit single in the UK was a version of In the Mood done with chicken voices. But on here, you've got Misty, which is the title track. It was a #2 single for him in the UK. I think also in the top 10 in America. And then another interesting track on here, Indian Love Call. And I do remember this one because it was so unusual. And that was a top 40 single for him as well. So while he was better known for his novelty stuff, he did produce some half decent. This is not a bad album. It's in great condition on the Janus record label. And then back to my £2. UFO, No Place to Run. This is the album, first album that featured Paul Chapman on guitar. Michael Schenker had left at this point, and it's produced by George Martin. Unusual choice, and I don't think the relationship during recording was that great. The album itself's not bad. Got a version of Mystery Train on there. What else you've got? Young Blood was the single on here, minor hit single. No Place to Run, Take It or Leave It. Yeah, it was the last album to feature Paul Raymond. He was sacked not long after that album. And then, again in this batch of £2 records, this is UFO Mechanics. Now I used to have this record, and I used to have this poster on my wall at the time. This came out in 1982. As I said, Paul Raymond had been sacked at that point. Neil Carter from Wild Horses had come in to replace him on keyboards and guitar. This was the last album to feature Pete Way on bass. He weren't happy with the direction it's going. It's certainly a softer album. You've got my favourite tracks, The Writer, and you've got a version of Something Else. Doing It All For You. We Belong Tonight and Let It Rain, which opened the tour. Terry, and you got Back Into My Life with like the ballads, Dreaming. It's a solid album. It's still a favourite of mine. You know, when I played it, it brought back memories. You know, buying these old records are bringing back memories. Maybe because I get older, I'm kind of regressing back into my childhood a little bit. I don't know. Almost down. It's getting a bit long. Pete, my record shop, I got a copy of Utopia's Raw. He suggested I should check this out. He gave it me. He gave me this copy. And on the Bearsville record, this is, I think, like a live album. I'm not sure. Live studio album. It's a corking album, actually. Todd Rundgren's Utopia. The first track on side 1 is Utopia itself, the eponymous track. Freak Parade, Freedom Fighters. And then side 2 is a 30-minute song called The Icon. It just ticks all the boxes for the prog element in it. It's just absolutely really corking. I want to check some more Utopia out. You know, the joys of buying music and being a music fan is discovering stuff that you've never heard, especially stuff that you think has passed you by. Absolutely brilliant. An album that hasn't passed me by. I was aware of it, but never even had a copy. This is Van Halen's Women and Children First. This is their third album. I think that might be number 1 in America. Best known track on here is And the Cradle Will Rock. This doesn't have the poster of David Lee Roth, which I'm not too upset about, to be quite honest. But, you know, at that point, Van Halen were just building on things like Van Halen 1 and 2. They seem to be unstoppable at this point. And then Van Halen's guitar playing, it's there. It stands there. It was the perfect band when you think about it. You've got the showman up front, you've got a solid rhythm section, and you've got your exceptional guitarist. It's a model that the hair metal band followed with the hair metal bands into the 80s, really. Excuse me, I need another drink. Another 12-inch single. A band I'm not really aware of. Wildlife. I think they come across as sort of like a bluesy rock band. On here, the album, its song is called Dance My Life Away. And nothing really spectacular, but they do a version of Fleetwood Mac's Need Your Love So Bad as the final track on here. It's okay. Doesn't make me want to check out the rest of the stuff. Another 12-inch single. This is called Turn On The Tap. This is a bit of a jazz, sort of a jazz introduction. So you've got Turn On The Tap. You've got First Love by Richard, the guy called Richard T, and Walter Longmire, Back in Colour. Then you've got Bob James, Touchdown, and Mango, Santa Maria, Watermelon Man. Not bad, it's just sort of a jazz funk sampler, really. And finally, a Ktel compilation, and one in it's in excellent nick, actually. It's called Believe in Music, 20 original hits, 20 original stars. This came out in, probably about 1972, I believe. Most of the songs are dated from there. You've got on here, you've got The Faces, Stay With Me, OJ's, Backstabber, Free All Right Now, Roxy Music, Virginia Plain, Atomic Rooster, Devil's Answer, John Congus, Turkaloshi Man, Daniel Boone, Rock and Roll Bum, Lindy's Farm, Meet Me on the Corner, Colin Brunkstone's I Don't Believe in Miracles, and Cat Stevens' Moon Shadow. I'd have paid just for that side. B-side's a bit, quality's not quite as great. Tyrannosaurus Rex, Deborah, Matt Davis, Baby Don't Get Hooked on Me, Lindsay Duncan, Sing Children Sing, Pioneers, I Believe in Love, Johnny Nash, There's More Questions Than Answers, Johnny Pearson's Sleepy Shores. Johnny Pearson was a TV conductor. This is sort of a TV theme. I can't remember what it was. Band called Graham with Black and White. Dandy Livingstone with Big City. Dave and Ansel Collins, Double Barrel. Bit of a ska reggae. And continue on this. Last guy is Judge Dredd and Big Six. Now, Judge Dredd was a guy who recorded it. Basically, his singles were banned because it's the double entendre. It wasn't even subtle. You think AC/DC are unsubtle. This lot, he was even more unsubtle. But yeah, I've got to find some more of his stuff. So, I know this video's gone on a little bit too long. But there you go. That was my recent find. And I have been shopping since. And there's more of these records that the cat damaged and in excellent quality. So I can't wait to show you those. So, if you liked what you see, thumbs up, thumbs down. If you wish to comment, feel free. I will reply to you. And if you liked what you've seen, you wish to subscribe, hit that subscribe button. As I said, I'm on 84. I'd love to get to 100. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. The sun is shining. I'm going to go back out again in a bit. So once I've had something to eat. So until next time, take care.